struggle during your race if you make this mistake that most runners make. Hi, I'm Colette, and I'm here today to talk to you about fueling. Okay, so fueling. What does fueling actually mean? When you're a runner, if you are training for a race, like I do at times, really what you should be doing is going ahead and taking on board lots of nutritious food leading up to your race and after your race. But what we're going to talk about specifically today is what you do with fueling during your race, okay? So, first of all, I guess the one thing to say for me is I typically run half marathons. That's what I like to choose to run. I have run marathons in the past, but even with a half marathon, when you're doing normal training runs, let's say, and you're going out, you don't always have to take food with you. And actually, typically, I don't. But when you're going up into these higher mileages, 7, 10, 13, and upwards, you need to be prepared to fuel your body on an ongoing basis throughout this event. Okay. So the thing that catches most people out, and the thing that I've experienced in the past as well, and I've got many stories of other friends who've gone through this, is that when you actually go out on race day, you're so excited, you've prepared, you've got all that adrenaline rushing through your body. I mean, I remember one of my more recent races, I think just last year, you get the adrenaline running through your body and you're like, this is great, and I've got people cheering me on, and you come prepared, via what people have told you online or wherever you're finding your information. You're like, all right, I need stuff to keep me fueled during the race. I need to be drinking lots of water. So those are all the right things. And but the one thing that people don't think about, and this is what happened to me, is so I got, my different energy based stuff for the race. And I put it in my pouch and I was all ready to go, and I started running the race and I felt strong. And then I hit about like mile 7, like six, let's say 6 or 7. And I was like, oh wow, I'm really starting to feel a bit of a lag now. So what I need to do is to take on some of my fuel. And so I get my fuel out and I bought it. I think my husband had given it to me because he uses this stuff a lot as well. With his races. So I took this, it was a gel at the time. I took the gel and I put it all in. I was like, oh, and you're still running. You're like, oh my gosh. And I don't know if any of you felt like this, but have you ever experienced or maybe you haven't before, but when you go ahead and you put the gel in your mouth and it's like, either I can't take too much at a time, or that makes me want to feel sick, or I've had a bit of a head rush, or I feel like I'm going to be sick, literally be sick, just because it was too intense and it was too much at that time. And there are a couple of reasons for that. I've been there, I've experienced it. It's an awful feeling, and it can even throw you off your race, right? So it can throw you off, it can set you back. And really all you want to be able to do is take out your pack and fuel right and open it and, take what you need to take, and then just keep running strong, and to feel that energy burst, that energy burst that you get when you fueled correctly. That's what it should be like. And just go and really push it and get all the way to the finish and feel like, woo, I've done great. So that's like, that's an example of what it can be like. And in that particular experience, I felt like sick. I didn't feel right. And it's like, it kind of actually derailed me. And then I kind of regretted having done it, right? So basically, this is what I'm going to teach you now is like what are the different fueling types and what should you do in order to prepare for a race with it. So different fueling types. So the first thing to know is that yes, it can catch you out if you're not prepared for fueling properly during a race, which you should do. It can catch you out and it can make you feel sick. It can throw you off your game. It can it just is not the ideal outcome that you actually wanted for the race, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's many ways to fuel. I don't know if people, everybody knows this, but like you may think, oh, the only way to fuel is through gels because that's what everybody talks about. But there's lots of different types of stuff. So, for example, here, this is a more popular brand, High Five, I think. And by the way, any of these things that I show you, I don't have an affiliation with or paid promotion or anything like that. But it's just literally the stuff that we use in our own household. So here we go. This is another one. This is actually a powder that you put into a drink. So you can get it in a powder form, which gives you like electrolytes, before, during, and after electrolytes, isotonic, and fructose. So it gives you the stuff you need, for before, during, and after is actually the marketing on this one. And then, this is a more natural one that I tried once. It's called Huma. And it's like, it's all natural instead of like a lot of synthetic type stuff, and it's gluten-free and vegan friendly. So this is a different type of gel, but you can also use bars. I've tried this before, Chia Charge. But what I find is, like, for me personally, I find it hard to physically eat, but some people find that actually it's easier for them to eat instead of gel during a particular race. So really, it's very personal preference, but there's lots of different types of fueling options out there. So you can see all those 5 different ones that I showed, but then there's also gummies that you can take. So there's lots of different ways that you can do this. So the next step really is, once you know what you're dealing with in terms of fueling strategies, you can then go ahead and do step 3, which is to practice. Okay, so that's the key. That's the thing that most people miss. A lot of people are really good at researching what they need to have and then having it for race day. But the thing that a lot of people miss is the actual practice element of fueling. So as you can say, if you do it actually on race day, it can throw you off. So what I would recommend is practicing at very least, probably, I would say 1 week, but at least 2 weeks, ideally, 2-week minimum before your race. Start practicing your fueling techniques. So get whatever, get a couple different things if you've never done it before. Try the powder, even here, I forgot to show this one. These are like effervescent tabs that go into your drink. It might make you feel sick if you don't like this kind of a thing, but it just depends on the person. So on any given run, take 1 or 2 of these things out. It can be for a short run just to try it out, or I would say just do it on one of your longer runs. So go ahead and give it a try on a longer run. And then even another thing is, so the second part of that is be prepared on that longer run beforehand. The second thing is to make sure that you practice actually administering it, let's say. So it's like, do you throw the whole bar in your mouth? Or do you take little bites and hold on to it? Because that's actually a technique as well. You don't realize it until you're because the ideal way to do it is to actually be running and fueling at the same time. And that does take practice, I'll be honest. And then the third thing in practicing your fueling is, how do you prefer it? Because it's very different for everybody. Like, sometimes I will prefer taking it all at once, but it depends on how big the shot is as well, right? So I found that other friends of mine really like just doing little tiny sips, and that really helps, because otherwise it feels like too much and taking too much on board. So those are kind of the 3 things. It's like, make sure that you practice a couple weeks in advance, at least, on some of your longer, more substantial runs, to know what you like, what your body likes, and how your body reacts to it. Number 2 is how you administer it, like practicing the actual administration of it. And then the third thing is actually putting it in your mouth, fast, slow, and what works for you. And throughout practicing this a couple different times, you'll find that you find your happy place, your middle ground. So that is my advice to you for today, folks. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below how that resonates with you. And if you'd like more kind of tips like this type of stuff that will help prepare you for race day. But for tomorrow, make sure to tell your friends or tell somebody about tomorrow if they're a runner or if they've already got a race. Because again, I will be here tomorrow at 12 UK time, at lunchtime, to give a good 10 to 15 minutes tops, little brilliant bite-sized piece of information that you can start using today. And I'm going to be doing this for 21 days. This is the 3rd day I've done it. So please just share it, pass it along. And then tomorrow we will be covering the worst thing that you could do to your body right after a race. So tune in tomorrow to find out at noon what is the worst thing you can do to your body immediately after a race. Okay. And some people do it and it's, I just want to make sure that people are diligent and they are educated and they know what they need to do. So join me tomorrow, tell some friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye.